Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. MC Murah here, and today we're gonna talk about 5 bad habits that are probably holding you back in Street Fighter 6. Obviously Street Fighter 6 got the drive system, it got a lot of very specific mechanics to it that makes it different from other fighting games, and I didn't want to make this list about bad anti-airs or not hit confirming, as these are some more general concepts. I wanted to focus on some really specific Street Fighter 6 related bad habits. So without wasting any time, let's get into the first one. Being far too reserved with your Supercation. This one is super common. More often than not, I see players pretty much holding off from using any supers until they dump all of it on a one big level 3 or a critical art, right? Now for sure level 3 supers and critical arts are very good, and more often than not they will put you in a very good position when it comes to the drive economy and just the life lead and all of that. I do think there is a little bit of mismanagement for meter going around, because from my observations of watching matches and playing myself, I've noticed on the average round you usually get to build around 2 bars a round, right? 2 gauges of super a round. So if we're talking about a 2 round matches, that means you get to build 4 bars on average, and if we're talking about a 3 rounds fight, we're here talking about 5 or 6 bars, and you only use 3. What I'm trying to say is, if there is a chance for you to use level 1 or level 2, whether you're using it as a utility super, as a wake up option, or just to put the opponent in burnout or getting them close to, don't hesitate using it, because more likely than not you will have the chance to use a level 3 later on during the match. The second bad habit is almost the complete opposite, and that is being far too loose with your drive gauge and how you decide to spend it. Burnout is the worst in this game. I think there are a couple of characters and matchups that can be played when you're in Burnout. Usually if you're using a character like Chun-Li or Guile that can still control the neutral when you're in Burnout, that's great for you, but most of the cast that needs to get in, that needs to apply pressure, kind of need to have your drive intact, and some opponents like for example JP is insanely difficult to deal with once you're in Burnout. This is a big part of the game, the decision making on when and on what to spend, but it is a very big deal. If you're starting a combo that will be heavily scaled, like lights for example, I don't think you need to do a ton of drive cancels or a crouching medium kick. It's gonna be scaled a lot anyways. If it's not gonna kill or put you in a very good position, maybe you don't really need to do it. Don't spend a ton of meter on drive rush cancels on block, because a lot of people really do overextend in that aspect, and that can lead to you getting burned out and the round pretty much snowballing against you. So you gotta be careful. Another bad habit, and kind of following up on what I just said, that I see all the time are players doing very meter dependent combos after a perfect parry, right? Pretty much you don't know what to do after a perfect parry. And in my opinion, after a perfect parry, what you want to do is either set up a situation, like do a combo that will put your opponent into the corner, if that is possible, or attack their drive gauge directly. Even doing something like a heavy into drive impact that will negate a lot of their drive, that is good. That is good usage of the perfect parry. But if you're spending like all your 6 bars for a combo that will do 30%, that is just a waste. Obviously if it's gonna kill, go for it, but otherwise just try to either set up a spacing that is really good or directly combo into a drive impact to target their drive. Now, a very common bad habit in Street Fighter 6 that I see players do all the time is panic drive impact. And I know that this one will probably work a lot against players, especially on the lower levels, if they don't really have the reactions to pull it off. But once you go against anyone that is actually pretty decent and are forming their offense around drive impact, and this one is a no-go, and it will cost you so many rounds. Only drive impact when you have the read on your opponent doing something like a buffer or overextending into a normal or poke that they can't pretty much cancel, right? Use it as a read and not a panic tool. Honestly, you're much better off throwing out a wishful parry than doing a panic drive impact. At least if you got the perfect parry, you will get to switch side, get yourself out of the corner, etc. And there isn't that much of a risk to it if the opponent is not directly in your throw range. The final habit is a more of a general fighting game one, but it really matters in Street Fighter 6, and that is don't walk yourself back to the corner. And I see players do this all the time, especially Kimberly players, right? They will walk back full screen and then walk back and forth pretending like they're playing neutral, and then they will run slide anyways. Street Fighter 6 is probably the game where being in the corner is the worst I have ever seen in a fighting game. You got throw loops, you got an attack that breaks armor and will lead to you getting comboed even if you block it. You can't really walk back and whiff punish, and you are prone to being whiff punished yourself. It is just the worst. So fight for your space and don't be afraid of that mid-range engagement. And that's about it for today's video. Let me know your thoughts about these bad habits. If you have other ones that you would like to mention in the comment below, I would be more than happy to read them. We'll be leaving a link to the Patreon, Discord, Twitter and Twitch pages in the description. Thank you so much for watching and stay safe.